Hey YouTube, it's me. I'm Jazz if you've never seen me before. I wanted to talk about an experience that I had during my first 4-day water fast. Yesterday, well, today was the end of that fast. I broke my fast today. Um, it definitely took a lot out of me physically. Like my face is smaller, my eyes are like kind of sunken in, my lips have been super dry, but I made it. I made it. By the grace of God, because I probably would have died. Because I've never like decided not to eat, you know? Like that's a crazy decision to make for nothing. But God told me I needed to fast because certain things can only be fixed through praying and fasting. Fasting is a super important thing to do because it helps you to build faith and gratitude. Um, Faith because you have to rely on God for everything, and gratitude because you realize He actually gives it to you and it's not you. So, on the third night of my fast, it was Friday night, Sabbath. Well, when Sabbath starts, Friday evening. So, I was lounging in a bed with some random lady, and we were just laying there watching a security camera. The security camera was in a tomb, and to this side, like up this side of the camera, there was like a stone coffin. And we were just watching. There was no one in there for a while. And then this guy just rolls in there. Well, not rolls, but walks in there. So I'm like, well, who is that? And at first I thought it was my ex because they kind of walk similarly. So I'm like, what's he doing in there right now? So on the back of his vest, it says, well, he's wearing a vest, and on the back of it, it says Sons of Anarchy. And if you know what anarchy means, that's basically lawlessness, right? So he turns the corner a little bit so you can like see the side of his face, and it's a black guy. And I'm like, so it's clearly not him, but who is that? So he goes over to the coffin and takes the lid off, and there's like a bunch of dead bodies just like kind of like smushed in there. And I'm just like, it's only supposed to be one body per coffin, so what's going on with that? So he disappears off screen, and then he's slithering up next to the bed that I'm laying in. And I'm just like watching him go up, like, how? How? So he's got, like, he was like all dusty, head to toe dusty. And then he had really big eyes. Like his eyes were bigger than regular human eyes. And the pupil and iris, well, his pupils were like snake's pupils, so they were like slits. And then his like the iris part was really huge. And his mouth, like he had regular lips and whatnot, but the way that they were shaped, it was shaped like a snake's mouth. So I'm just like, ew. Like this is creepy. So I'm creeped out right now. So he's talking and he's got two voices, but they're both deep voices. So I don't remember exactly what he was saying in the beginning, but I remember like I can summarize it basically. He was talking about what happened to the people in the coffin, how they got there, and how and why they allowed him to get there. So he looks at me and he says, "The only reason I don't have your children is because you wanted them." And as soon as he said that, I pulled up the blanket over like my nose, but I could still see him. And now that I think about it, it's funny because that blanket that I had was white, but he blew out this black mist kind of thing, and then it kind of like just like was like floating through the air, and then it went straight over me, like brushed over me a little bit, and then like straight into the other lady. And then I woke up. I prayed like for a short, like I prayed briefly, to regain my bearings because I was a little freaked out. And I woke up in a dark room, so I'm just like, you know, I don't know. So I prayed about it, and then I went back to sleep. The next day after church, I spoke to my stepdad because my stepdad interprets dreams as his God-given gift. So I told him about the dream, and he said, that was Satan, right? And I was like, I figured so because he was like a snake man. So he said that the people in the coffin weren't dead, but they were considered the walking dead because Satan's followers are considered the walking dead in the Bible because, they're alive, but they're dead inside because sin isn't exactly the freedom that people think it is. They consider, being followers of God as being bound, but they're actually the ones that's bound because they can't get out of that. It's like a constant loop of misery. So he says that according to Satan, he can't touch me anymore because I'm different. I'm now under God's protection, and he can't get to me like he could. He can't get to me like he could before. Whew. And he can't get to my children now either because they're also protected by God, which is great. And I'm trying to teach them about, God and God's love and everything because that's my duty as a mother. So, because I found out recently that, sure, children aren't innocent. However, they have the DNA of their parents, which means if they don't learn about God, they'll grow up to be exactly like their parents if their parents are not. Like, I'm not sure how to explain that, to be honest with you, but I'll have to find it and explain it in another video maybe. But yeah, some children will not make it because of the DNA that they have in them that was failed to be changed by the blood of Christ and living how Christ would like you to live and having his character. So I'm trying to make sure that happens for my children so that we can all go to heaven because I'm trying to go to heaven and I would like for them to come with me. I know that sounds crazy and a lot of people are going to think I'm completely insane, but that's okay because in the last days, I think it was in the book of Joel, it says that the youth will have visions about the things that are going to be happening in the last days. And my stepdad believes that once I finally completely consecrate myself to God, I will be one of those individuals that are going to have visions because of all the dreams that I have now. Because everyone's like, oh, well, how do you know that your dreams come from God? Well, I talked to my stepdad about my dreams, and his God-given gift is to interpret dreams. So if my dream didn't come from God, he wouldn't be able to interpret it. So that's how I know. I'm not sure about anybody else, but that's how I know. So I really just wanted to talk about that really quick and, get that out there because that was a really heavy thing that I saw and went through and felt. So I just wanted to get that out there. Fasting is really important and some crazy things happen when you fast, but it's great. If you are following God and nothing crazy is happening to you, like you're not getting ridiculed, you're not getting attacked, like demonic attacks, like personal attacks or, demon activity and something like that, you need to self-reflect because you are not doing something right. I'm not saying that God wants your life to be like this, but that's just the world that we live in now. And that's just how people are. when it comes to stuff like that. They see Christians as the crazy people and, oh, rules, 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 rules. But that's really not it at all. Like, if you love God, doing what He asks you to do is not a problem at all for the people that love God. So we're not under rules. We're choosing this. This is a conscious decision. Like, we make these conscious decisions every day to choose to do what God wants us to do because we love Him, not because we're gonna die if we don't. Like, no, that's not the case at all. So, yeah, I'm gonna expand on that in another video, maybe. God willing, like if He wants me to do that, then I will do that. But if not, you might have to do that on your own. Like, look that up on your own. But I feel lighter.